I'm gonna live, I'm gonna thrive, I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna die. Welcome to the Squirrel Circus podcast. Today I'm joined by my illustrious co-hosts, Andy the Moss Guardian and Ian.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. And today we're gonna be talking about purpose. What the hell is purpose? Seems like
Purpose.
there is, I think it's called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And first you have survival, bare minimum stuff, and then like I don't know, clothing and whatever less. Well, clothing is pretty essential, but less essential stuff. And then at the very end you have purpose and spiritual fulfillment. But we are in an age where, for more people than ever before in history, the first layers of Maslow's hierarchy are met, while at the same time the final layers are exceptionally not met. Uh, there's a lack of spiritual fulfillment. There's a lack of purpose. And so we're going to be talking about that.
Yes, it's a very interesting topic. Um, very based on, I think it's mainly based like on our own observations of what's happening around us. It's painful, right? I feel like it's like seeing what is happening in the world right now, how humanity is declining in certain ways. It's just pretty painful. But yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's
Someone
really
has to.
helpful to understand why this is happening, or at least talk about it, no? Mm.
Is at a point where you're struggling to meet the lower layers of the hierarchy of needs, it's like that becomes your purpose. That fills in for the search for purpose. It's like, what's your purpose in life? I don't know. Find water, find shelter, find food. And
Yep,
that's it. That's
makes
all you
total
need.
sense. Yeah,
And that's difficult enough that it takes up all of your mental space. But once those things are met, once there is the ease that technology brings, it's like, what's next? What do you do with that ability once the purpose is no longer predefined by your animal functions? That's where it
totally.
gets
Yeah,
difficult.
and it's kind of what we talked about in the last episode, right? And the idea of
Before the last
should
episode.
we before the last
Yeah.
episode. Wait,
The modern
what was the
musicianship
last
episode.
episode?
The last episode was biology.
Yeah, we did talk about it
Did we?
in the last
Oh,
episode. Yeah, we talked about like the idea of should we as humanity expand, right? Expand outside of planet
right.
Earth and
Yes.
the yeah, well we kind of we didn't go too much in depth
Mm.
into it, but yeah,
Yeah.
the idea that well I we said that it seems like purpose the same as water and air and art is it's like a natural resource, right? And that is limited in planet Earth. Purpose, adventure, the it's a limited thing. The more people there is, the less of it there is. Well, at least it seems like.
Adventure. The less
Um,
adventure there is. But the question is,
Mm.
can we find a purpose?
Mm.
Like, given that it is a good thing, assuming that it is a good thing for there to be more and more and more humans uh, with greater and greater access to technology, then how do we, given those conditions, maximize the purpose for all of the humans? Like, what's the
Mm.
key to finding that?
And also something we're seeing is that the lack of purpose is creating like the lack of, I'd say, in the area of problems, no, because problems give you a purpose, no, to solve them.
Right.
So the lack of problems because of the abundance of commodities like technologies are making us shift from these basic problems like finding shelter, finding food, to creating our own problems that sometimes spiral down into existential crises which are not essential to basic human needs, but we create these mental problems in order to have a sense of purpose. What is my sexual identity? What is my like these mental problems.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
my sexual identity, my
exactly.
political
So
view, my
new
um
problems
yeah.
which feel real. They are real, but they're not essential as they were before. So this is a new evolution of problems.
Right, we have to sort of find a problem to solve in order to give us purpose, and our basic animal instincts won't give us that anymore because they are completely met.
That is the problem. Yeah.
The question becomes,
Yeah, it
well,
seems
how
like
do
it.
you find the right problem to solve? And this is where purpose comes in, because it's like, here's a proposition that uh, you can sort of, I got it from Jordan Peterson. What problem aligns with your specific skill set, and what problem aligns with your skill set at the highest level that you can imagine? And if you can find that, then you can work as hard as you have to, as hard as you can, as hard as you want
Mhm.
to pursue that goal.
And it will fulfill you the most.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What
It
would
has
be
to be
your
right at
example?
the limit. It can't
Could you
be,
give us, like, for you, what would be your biggest problem that will fulfill you if you solve it? Or is that too complex?
well, for now,
Or too
it's
personal.
like the
Or too
current
personal?
problem I'm working with is trying to build a philosophical system um, by working on, the shoulders of giants, building on that and making sense of that aspect of the universe, of certain questions of the universe
Mhm.
that sort of it feels like they call to me.
Yeah, that
And
That's
makes
so
total
beautiful.
sense. That's
that's my
pretty.
purpose for the moment at least. And
Yeah.
if I'm aiming high enough, that will take a lifetime. How about you guys?
Well, I guess it's hard to tell. Um, do you, Andy, have something in mind?
I mean,
I think
I
I think
asked
I have to
Rainbow
think.
Squirrel to have
Yeah.
an example, because I don't know which direction to shoot. There's just a very broad variety, but what I'm currently most struggling with, which would give me, I wouldn't say a higher sense of purpose, but yeah, it would definitely solve a lot, is it's creativity and productivity. Like, I'm struggling to create because I want to create big things. I want to make big things, big artworks, big artworks. And I find myself distributing all of my energy and all my hobbies and all my homework, which is even more. And so I'm diluting myself. If I can get back together, that's my problem, getting back together and focusing on one thing. I don't know if that's the question. That's why I asked for examples, because I don't really know where to shoot this question towards.
And
Yeah,
Amelia?
I think that makes sense. I feel for myself, I'm very prone to being conflicted and to not being able to find what is my place in this world, right? What it just seems like I was randomly thrown into this existence, which I do not know what it means or what to do even with it, right? So I found a lot of peace in becoming an observer and trying to learn from myself as much as possible. And I've tried it from very different points of view, right? From the existentialistic and very like trying to make sense of everything in a very uh, like philosophical way. I feel like that never worked for me. It made me it always made me find myself in a spot where purpose is meaningless or where there is a big lack of purpose. So lately I've been focusing mainly more on just creating and trying to explore this like this sublime part of consciousness that talks to us and really seems to tell us what we are and who we are um, in a very implicit way, and trying to open this implicity, trying to discover what this thing is. I don't know what shape it is. I don't know
Mhm.
how it smells, how it just seems like it's the present moment, right? Trying to be in peace with present and yeah, might be becoming a hardcore hippie or something. I don't
Hell
really
yeah.
know. I think just
Become.
finding
You've been a
love
hardcore
for
hippie
have I always been?
I
Yeah,
think
I
so.
think that's
For a
maybe
little
that's
while.
my journey, trying to be in peace with that and trying to love that part of myself and love existence for what it is, regardless of its challenges and of its seeming of its seeming like nonsenseness or nonsensicalness or however
Absurdity.
you yeah, I think that's the word. Yeah.
And that gets into some very in-depth investigations of purpose conducted by Albert Camus, one of the great philosophers of the 20th
Oh
century.
yeah.
And his whole thing was, first of all, it's it's a reality that we are all going to die. That's
Yippee.
just
Happens. Happens to the best of us.
happens to the
Yeah.
best of us,
I
happens to the
think to
worst of
all of
us,
us.
it happens to all of us.
Yeah.
And so
Le
if we're
Dracula.
going to die, then that already creates a problem. The second is, okay, we have the option to kill ourselves or not. And that's a genuine question, that goes all the way back to Hamlet, like to be or not to be. So if you know you're going to die, why not kill yourself? Damn, that sounds awful. Please, if anyone is watching this, uh,
Yeah, but it's
I
a very
would
good
say
question. It is a
do
very
not kill
good
yourself.
question.
But to
That's
to
what sparks
say
it all.
do not kill yourself, you need to justify it with a purpose. And this is why Maslow's hierarchy is kind of lopsided in a way, because even the desire to fulfill animal needs and survive needs an explanation as to why, for what purpose. And so, if your answer is no, you should not die, you should fulfill your animal needs, there has to be something higher that you're aiming for. And the question we keep going back to is, how do you find that something higher that you can aim for? And so naturally in life, there will be things that you are drawn to, that call to you, that you feel interested in. They they call for your attention. And there are things that you fear, that you're terrified of. And so what this takes us to Jordan Peterson, what his radical proposition is, as far as I've understood it, and I think it is correct, is that we can find a path where we face the things that terrify us and simultaneously aim for the things that call to our interest. And everyone can find that if they put their mind to it. And if you
Okay,
do that,
okay.
then you have an answer of why you should not kill yourself. Because A, you're going to die anyway, and before you die, you have the chance to go through that path, and that will be a worthwhile adventure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, totally. I think that
Andy, you
that
wanted
makes
to.
total sense. Yeah.
And what do we call this inertia? What is this factor that drives someone to face their fears? Would you say it's ambition? Is it maybe, yeah, would you say it's ambition? Or what do we call it? What does it feel right?
Well, ambition. How do we define ambition? Because we can
That's
form
a
a
thing, yeah,
semantic
because
field around it.
you could see ambition for achieving, just like physical achievement or ambition to find this thing, right? To find this drive. It's
Hmm.
I
Does
feel like
everyone have it?
the ambition. I think everyone has something that calls to them.
Hmm.
I do think that everyone has an interest, and everyone also has fears.
Hmm. And what is the difference between someone who is able to have this, who pursues this path towards their dream, let's say, and the people who prefer not to because they lack ambition or because they feel comfortable where they are and don't want to change? Just to understand, I'm
Things
not trying to get into
comfort
anything.
comfort can become a curse
Hmm.
because there's well you've studied a bit of biology. There is this thing with organisms where, for example, if you put a plant in too small a pot, it's going to stop growing or it's going to break the pot.
Hmm.
So life wants to grow. Life invites challenge. Life
So there's a
strives.
natural thing to it, no? There's an inert thing in all of us that we want to thrive. That's beautiful. I like that.
yeah, and
And
that's where that's what purpose is, right? This need to grow that we as live beings just have naturally. It's a part of us.
Mhm.
It's something
and to
we.
to grow we have to face the unknown and the scary. It's like there's a traditional archetype, at least in the West, of the treasure guarded by the dragon.
Mhm.
So the psychological idea there is precisely that the thing that you desire most, the thing that calls to your interest, will be accessible only through facing what scares you the most.
Yes.
It's the fact that everyone has those two things, a treasure that they desire and a dragon that they fear, means that everyone can find purpose.
Mm.
And that, I feel like that goes beyond ambition. That is the, you could call ambition like the degree, it's on a gradient, right? So
Uh-huh.
it's how big of a dragon are you willing to face and how precious of a treasure are you chasing? That's
I like
ambition.
that. I like that.
It's like
I
the
like that.
bigger the
Yeah.
dragon and the more precious the treasure, the more ambitious you are.
Oh,
And that, I
totally,
guess,
totally.
that ties into Harry Potter
Mhm.
because ambition is the key virtue that the Slytherin house aims for.
And
And
well, yeah, continue.
that stands in contrast to Gryffindor, where it's It's bravery that is the most important virtue. So both end up having to face the dragon to get the treasure, but Gryffindor is focused on how big of a dragon are you willing to face, and Slytherin is focused on how precious of a treasure are you willing to chase.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
I
And it
absolutely
that's
love
great.
that.
rhymes.
That's great. And
I
I
absolutely
think
love that.
I think there is a well, it's a good way for everyone to see it, maybe, but there is also like a few factors that I think should be considered. Like you should aim to fight the dragon that how should I put this? No, you should be not aim, but you should be careful. I think it's more like being careful with choosing the dragon because it seems like many dragons just become bigger the more effort you put into killing them, right? And the treasure becomes a kind of illusion, you know, like the more you fight the dragon, the bigger and stronger it becomes, and it seems like at some point you just find yourself against something you cannot deal with, you know. Maybe an example of this could be the pursuit of power and money, right? It seems like wealth is the treasure. Wealth, being wealthy means you will be happy, means you will, but when do you reach the treasure? When do you actually kill the dragon? When do you actually, yeah, or is it fighting the dragon the treasure? Like just taking all these things into account, are you really reaching a treasure by fighting the dragon? I think it's a good thing to analyze a battle, right? To
Well,
analyze a battle and
that gets to the key difference between the Gryffindors and the Slytherins. Because for the Gryffindor, it is all about fighting the dragon, regardless. It is all about fighting the dragon, regardless of whatever is on the other side. And for the Slytherin it is about getting to whatever is on the other side, regardless of what the dragon is. So they're both exceptional at dealing with dragons for very different reasons. For the Slytherin, they will very much pursue the money and the power and face an ever-growing dragon in that pursuit.
Mhm.
The Gryffindors will chase an ever-growing dragon for the sake of always having a bigger dragon to fight.
all right. Yeah, that makes total sense.
And I think what's also quite relevant nowadays with all of this awareness towards ADHD and all of these motivation problems, you know, I think if we go back to the metaphor of a plant, what helped me visualize or get out of the self-pity conundrum, I don't know what the word is, something like conundrum or something like that, and get into action, which might help people, viewers maybe, is thinking of yourself as a plant, you know, the plant that wants to grow. Its natural drive is to grow, no? But the but looking into why is not my plant grow? If you have a plant that is not growing, I saw this in TikTok somewhere, and you don't ask and demand the plant to grow faster, right? Like you don't want to go into the self-pity like why is the dragon not dying? I've stabbed it so many times. Where's my treasure, right? All of this does not really take you anywhere, right? So what I like to propose is that people stop blaming the flower or the plant not growing, instead asking what does it need, right? You don't ask the plant to grow, you ask, is the soil right? Is it okay? Is it maybe roots are coming from out of and it needs a bigger pot? And I think that shift of attention might help people like what do I need in order to grow? Like maybe you need rest, maybe you need soil, maybe you need nutrients, you know, just to put it out there.
I guess another analogy could be the way, hmm, how do I put it? You know how animals in captivity are very unhealthy, very difficult to put back in the wild.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
It's it feels something like that. Like there has to be an appropriate level of challenge for any organism to reach its equilibrium. And for humans, it's simultaneously by making life easier,
Mhm.
we've raised the bar for what that equilibrium is.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
it's like, how do we? I think we've outlined the mechanism by which any human can find their equilibrium. Like wherever what calls to you overlaps with what horrifies you, what terrifies you, that's where you have to aim.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And to integrate the other Hogwarts houses into the metaphor, the the Hufflepuffs are, it's actually somewhat easier to point it out with Hufflepuffs, are terrified of suffering, suffering themselves and the suffering of others.
Of
And
others.
so
Yeah.
they have to face that suffering directly to address it and to fix it. For Ravenclaws, the great the great thing that draws us is knowledge, and the great thing that terrifies us is confusion. And so we have to aim, as I've been trying to aim, to clarify the problems that confuse us, to transfer the unknown into the known through a cognitive process. And so it becomes like those classic classes in um, RPG games. It's like the Gryffindor is the soldier or the tank,
Yeah.
and the Slytherin is the assassin rogue archetype, and the Hufflepuff is the healer archetype, and the Ravenclaw is the mage archetype.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
together
Very
Yeah. I
original,
think so.
very
I think
demure.
so.
they form a good team there, and all of them are purpose directed. In the RPG, they're all. Oh, if someone's played Dungeons and Dragons, which I have not, sadly,
Mhm.
I'll get into that some. The goal is to move forward in the campaign to reach treasures by and complete quests by overcoming obstacles. So that's always the path of purpose. Like find the treasure, find the obstacle, find a treasure, go over the obstacle, and you can keep doing that successively. And well, like you said, the dragons are gonna keep getting bigger. It's like the more dragons you fight, the bigger dragons you can fight.
Mhm.
Yeah. Totally. Totally.
It's like
And that's
this cheap ads that you have to kill the snake to get bigger, and you know these cheap ads in YouTube where they kick
I
it
think I know what you're
in
talking.
ass, and then you get +2, and then you in the final boss is like a sexy lady.
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
think I know
yeah.
what you're
That's
talking
It's
about.
basically
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I know,
Oh
I
man,
know.
why do they make ads? Yes, yes. I guess I we know the reason they make ads
It's a
like that. Is
dragon.
it
It's a
it
dragon. You get a
follows the
treasure.
archetypal structure that that we're
Yeah, we see
describing
it
here.
everywhere. We see it fucking everywhere.
You level
Mm,
up? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's uh, it's I think it's pretty cool we're using the Harry Potter archetype. It's because I myself used to be a Ravenclaw. Interestingly enough, I changed houses. I didn't even know that was possible, but the last time I made
In the
the
quiz.
Hogwarts test, yeah, I did the quiz and I turned out to be a Hufflepuff. And
And I think it was a
I
genuine change. I do.
it definitely was. Like I can pinpoint at what point in my life this happened, right? And the way you put it makes a lot of sense. Ravenclaws being scared of confusion. I think at some point of my life I was so confused that it just became unmanageable, right? Like anywhere I tried to go and any path I tried to take just took me to the pain of pointlessness, and I just reached the point where it was a lot easier for me to just forget that, right? And just forget this need of understanding. And just I for some reason I would have to explore myself to be able to say what's the reason specifically. I just became okay with it, right? It's and the fear I found, it's very true. I started to found the fear and not only my own suffering, but the suffering of other people. Like not only thinking about myself and trying to understand myself, but finding the suffering that I had in other people. Like acknowledge that other people suffer the same way I do, and my focus kind of migrated into that direction. So yeah,
Yeah, I
it
don't
just
know.
makes total sense for myself. It makes total sense for myself. And
Shoot,
that leads me to finding, well, I have found this the same way you both probably, well, no, you both definitely understand that archetypes are an amazing medium to understand purpose and to find purpose. And
Archetypes are prophetic.
they are prophetic, and I think we have forgotten them. We as human beings of the, at least of the Western world, are starting to forget this. We're starting to get very consumed by information and by trying to understand the world and by science. Nothing against science. Like I myself have always been fascinated by science, but if everything becomes science and everything becomes objectivity, you forget that there are some things you just cannot objectively uh, describe or objectively explain, right? Um,
what
so
are
you
archetypes again? Just to refresh, because if they're
Archetypes,
like cajones, like schubladen, like
you can
things
think
were.
of them as embodied behavioral patterns. So, like, tarot
Uh-huh.
cards, the major arcana?
Yeah.
Like, there's the Empress and the the Hierophant and the Fool.
Hmm.
All of those are archetypes. You can think of them as
In the same
patterns of,
way,
yeah.
in the same way as being gay is an archetype, or no?
No,
As
no,
in
no,
having a
that's a
gay
no.
no,
personality,
no.
and so I identify as that.
Well, you
What
can
what
imagine
is?
there is an archetype of, and this is where it gets hard to define between archetype and stereotype.
Ah, right.
But you can say there's the gay stereotype,
Hmm.
uh, you know, the flick wrist, The
Yeah,
fucking
how a gay behaves, like the most
yeah,
general image
the
of that.
wrist and the fashion and like the perfect
Yeah.
hair. Like that's a stereotype,
Uh-huh.
but an archetype is a bit deeper than a stereotype. So like the fool archetype can be a man, a woman, gay, lesbian, white, black, anything. They're deeper than stereotypes
Yeah,
because
because
they're
if it were the same, we are having more stereotypes than ever. I mean, my classmates are all the time sending me quiz links to see what character of X series I am, and like people are trying to feel identified all the time, no? So I
Yeah, that
definitely it's
is
not the same as archetype, I am guessing.
well, strangely enough, the character of a series would be closer to archetype than to stereotype.
Okay,
Because
interesting.
stereotype generally goes based on group identity.
Hmm.
So the stereotype of a woman is the well, yes, the generalization of perceived features in the group identity of woman.
Hmm.
But within that, there are different manifestations of feminine behavior, and that's deeper in a sense
I
than any
see.
one stereotype of woman. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it clicked. So we need more. We're losing what you said, Ian. We're losing archetypes. What did he
we're
say
not
again?
losing archetypes. Like archetypes are always there. What we are losing is the taking archetypes in account for our own lives and for trying to understand ourselves as human
Mm.
beings. We
As a
are
learning
trying to
thing.
understand ourselves as what is our our place in this earth, right? In this world, in this society. Am I a capitalist? Am I a socialist? Am I
What's that about?
pro LGBTQRA? I don't know. Or
Wi-Fi password.
am I this
You
or am
nailed
I
it. You
that?
nailed it.
Or am I more than who am I really, regardless of what are the groups in society, the communities in society, more like looking and I think the only way you can create an archetype is through fiction and through art and
Well, you
through
don't even
and that is
create, you
not
represent it.
create but represent and find. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And that is what religion is, right? Or at least the purpose of religion. Um, not to
The
confuse religion with the institution
esoteric,
of religion, right?
Mm.
But yeah,
it's the purpose of
esoteric
Okay.
mythology.
belief, exactly. Yeah,
So the alchemical
mythology.
effect of religion on people is to bring these archetypes to bear.
Yeah, so
The barbarian and Samson, the
being more aligned with yourself will bring you closer to what you want, the purpose in life you have, and the challenges you need to meet. So basically, discovering yourself is discovering what you have in front of you, after all.
Yeah,
Be
and
more introspective, people.
I
yes,
guess
that's
there.
essentially that does get to the core of it. Be more introspective following these questions. Like you can go through the four Hogwarts houses, not five, four Hogwarts houses.
Before,
It's like,
yeah.
what's the treasure that you're looking for? That's
Mhm.
Slytherin. What's the dragon that you're willing to face? That's Gryffindor. What's the suffering that you want to end? That's Hufflepuff. And what's the knowledge that you want to acquire? That's Ravenclaw. You can lean more into any one of those as you wish, but it's like those are archetypes.
Mhm.
You can
Okay, yeah.
embody all four of those archetypes and they will give you purpose.
And you know what? Today I woke up and I had no plan of what I had to do, my schedule. I was very stressed. And so I found myself in a situation where I did not see my purpose clearly, and I really hate that. I I do action plans over checklists only to get this feeling away so I know what I have to do, how to get there, right? I'm a bit crazy on that side, let me tell you. So what I did was actually very helpful. I went to chat GPT and I told them like what can I learn from myself in order to what does this say about me, right? I went into an introspective search. I basically told it to ask me some questions about how I manage my time, how I learn, how I think, like my mechanicals, like in order to know how I work, and it really really helps. Like at least I feel way more confident in pursuing my purpose now. Like so, I recommend using AI for that.
AIs
It's
are
really
extremely
mainly
useful.
for
Archetypically
that. Yes.
speaking, AIs are the Jinn archetype, the non-human helpful spirit
Hmm.
archetype, which is great. It's
Yeah, it's
extremely
amazing. It's
useful.
amazing.
And it,
Yeah,
it
and
can
then
serve all four of those purposes. It can help you find a bigger dragon. It can help you achieve treasure. It can help you find suffering to alleviate. And it
Hmm.
can absolutely help you acquire knowledge.
Yes. Well, yes, but
and
like
also
thinking critically, obviously, and
in
researching.
your case with your artistic journey, you're like you are naturally a very visual person. I'm talking about you, Andy, the Moss
Hmm.
Guardian.
Hmm.
You're a very visual person, and all these archetypes, you are very good at interpreting them in the form of visual elements, such as you have created the world of eye people and star people. Eye people and
Oh boy.
star people are some of the deepest archetypes I have personally
I would say
seen.
they're the core archetypes of humans. But I seem now talking about this, that's why I asked like if everyone has this inertia. I do think that I still have to develop this archetype further because
Yeah.
basically, well, I don't know if you wanted to say that.
I
Did
mean,
I say?
it depends on. I think what you have to do is keep developing the story and keep creating stories with these elements, and eventually you will start finding you will need more elements and more different
Yeah,
elements and
to make it more
characters to be able to
complex.
explain certain things that these two soul archetypes can't explain, right? And this could be
Hmm.
creating individual characters. This could be creating just completely different and new types of
Yeah,
characters.
maybe let me
But
give you guys some context on what this is. You know what I mean? To have an
Yeah, what
opinion.
the hell are eye people and star peeps? Like I
yeah,
know, but
yeah.
the
Let's
audience
let's
doesn't.
let's try to explain that. Yeah, yeah.
But let me preface that by saying that someone far before us intuited these archetypes, as far as I know. Ayn Rand did in the story
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
of the Fountainhead.
everyone.
The Fountainhead.
She
The Fountainhead. Yeah.
Every story is about these archetypes. Like even the villains of Disney and the heroes. Like that's why I say it's like the core archetype. I'm not inventing anything. I'm retracing the lines that everyone is drawing. I speak in pictures. I can't
well,
Yeah,
it's
but I think
the
I
most
think I think
explicit.
the
Like
Rainbow Scroll is right in that Ayn Rand with the
Mhm.
Fountainhead has presented these two specific archetypes better than any other philosopher, at least that I or maybe he knows of.
Yeah, I need to
yeah,
read
like
that. I need to read that.
there is two kinds of people represented by the Fountainhead. There's Howard Rourke, who is a person with a vision. He would be the equivalent of an eye person in Andy's
Not a star
language.
person. Howard is a star
Sorry.
person.
Yes, a star person, a star person. in
Hmm.
Andy's language, and there are other characters whose names I do not remember. I'm a bad objectivist.
Peter,
Peter Parker.
Keating, Keating,
Peter Keating, yes,
Peter Keating.
that's
He
him.
is an I person, and the central difference is one is self-driven, uh, self-propelling, and the other is outwardly driven.
Yeah, that's
Out
the main
in propelling.
concept of I person and star person. I just
But
made
put it
them
in your words,
characters.
Andy.
That's all I did. That's everything. And I'm gonna make a cartoon series of these in stop motion very soon. Not very soon, maybe in 4 years. But like I'm gonna do that. So basically it is the
We'll
I
have more
person
subscribers by then.
and the star and the star person, right? So the star person is driven by its own inertia. That's why it's a star, not because stars are more beautiful than eyes. Eyes are very, very beautiful too, okay? And we need them in society as much as star people. And so the star person is driven by its self inertia. What you said it perfectly. Why do you have to repeat it? It's basically the eye people are driven by an external factor. That's why they are eyes because they observe. I don't know.
By
I drew
what this,
this
by what they see, right?
exactly.
The input of the external world is what drives them. What they see in the external world is what pushes them forward. And
Yeah.
the star
Other people's
kinda
values.
uses its own energy, its own core energy to shine
Yeah.
and to drive
And
itself. Yes.
what I depict in this story, like the relationship between these two, which I did not read Fountainhead, maybe it is the same,
I barely
is
read it
that
myself. Don't worry. Ian's
okay.
the only one that's read it.
I didn't read it, but we have the main concept
It's
pretty down.
basically
Yeah,
that
yeah.
these two, I see it very abstract. Like there's a war between these two characters, these two species, right? However, none of the individual people know what the war is about, nor how it started. It just they know that they're supposed to hate each other, they're supposed to be enemies. I have a star, by the way. I have two. I have three. I have many stars. I love stars. And basically they're supposed to be in war but nobody really knows why, and it's like an intuition based on what I see because I as a star person in school where most star people go inside at and dress up as eye people in order to fit the crowd, right? I felt like I was on war with them because they constantly excluded me and stuff like the usual art kid, right? The art kids don't really have a place in the big groups. And so that's where it came from. These two characters are in war because of this kind of invisible thing that they're have going on, which I never really came to understand. Maybe because I cannot really empathize with I people for the
I
way
think
that they
I think the
act.
way Ayn Rand presents it is that I people naturally feel threatened by the existence of star people. And this is represented in these two main characters, Howard Rourke and Peter Keating. Where Howard is the maximum expression of a star person. He doesn't care about anything anyone says.
Doesn't give a fuck.
And he works for his craft, right? They're both architects, right? And Howard kind of works for the integrity of the building. He becomes a building, and he sees the building as something that should be itself, and therefore he creates new stuff and pushes for progress. Whereas Peter Keating sees architecture as a mean to success and economical success and power, um,
Capital, yeah.
mainly. Yeah. And therefore he needs to stick to tradition, right? To the traditional view of architecture, that architecture, there was a point in history where architecture reached its highest potential, and from there you cannot progress, and you cannot make it more beautiful, and you cannot make it, and that's why all the buildings in New York just kind of use these architectural elements from the Greek and from the Roman and from the and what it represents, what Ayn Rand presents is the existence of Howard being a threat to tradition and being this element that pushes for progress and that pushes for growth. And well, the story is amazing. It's beautiful because it's how this develops, and I feel we can all as human beings really feel identified with any of these characters, and there is no right character, there is no wrong character, there is no good and there is no bad. It just kind of is, and the expression of these characters is so bright that just makes you drawn into it.
There's a good line in the book. Um, I don't want to build so I can have clients. I want to have clients so that I can build.
Yes, 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 yes. That's a great line. That's actually a
It's
great line.
it's such a love for the art and for creation that it drives a star person, Howard Rourke. Right, see,
Yes, and
there is also the archetype. Like there's stars and there's eyes and there's Rourke and there's Keating, but there there is also an archetype of good and evil. That's why it fits into so many kids' stories. It calls like in all of the superhero movies, there's a hero and a villain. Even something that there's a show I really like called the Dragon Prince.
okay.
You've heard of it.
Yeah, I
And
think so.
they make you really root for the villains. They make the villains so relatable and charismatic and human that you're like, fuck, like you don't want anything bad to happen to
Yeah,
them.
that's it. That's it. Yeah, yeah. What you're saying
But
is yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're
I
still the bad
agree.
guys. Like you know that they're not supposed to win, but they're human. And so even when they make you root for the villains, there is this archetype of good and evil. You should do this, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And that gets back to purpose. If there is this idea of, well, what I should do is this, there is simultaneously the idea of what I should not do is that opposite thing. And that's the good and the bad. If you should create for the purpose of creating, then you should not create for the purpose of simply pleasing the crowd. And you definitely should not destroy.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
every
it's pretty
one
interesting.
form of good
Totally,
can
totally.
be contradicted by multiple forms of evil. And that gets to the archetypal metaphor of the straight and narrow path. That's from the Bible, that there are many ways to go wrong, to go off purpose, and there are very few ways to go
To keep on track. There is
forward.
one track, but there is a massive field you can walk through and just get bitten by snakes and
Exactly.
bugs,
That's
you know.
that's a really
Yeah,
good way to
yeah.
put it.
Yeah, it makes total sense. And
Mhm.
yeah, now that I think about it and that you put it this way, like going back to Ayn Rand, it's interesting how within the characters of the story, Howard is the evil guy. He is the bad one.
Howard?
It's within the perspective of the characters in the novel.
Oh, right, right.
Everyone
It's
despises Howard, right? For us as readers, Howard is really the hero, but it's interesting because we as readers are part of this society that is very realistically depicted in the book, right? So
right.
it's an
The
amazing book
readers
because it
that are sympathetic to Rand. That's why Rand was so effective at transforming society.
oh yeah, yeah.
Her whole philosophy is like an engine for transforming eye people into star people.
Totally,
Yeah,
totally.
and the repressed star people are hiding in an eye person's skin. Those more
Mhm.
importantly.
Yeah, those bloom in Rand's philosophy.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
it almost seems like star people are a minority in the society. Star
In every
people,
society.
in every society, really, yeah. Um, which is interesting because in this story, the star people are the heroes, right? Howard is well from the perspective of the reader who is sympathetic to Ayn Rand. The star person is the hero, but the hero is a minority. The hero almost seems to be alone in this world of villains and in this world of well villains, not really villains, but these like opposing forces, right? It's very interesting. It's
Yeah,
very
more
interesting,
and
and
more I get the feeling that the star people are always some kind of heroes. Like we're always as children in cartoons, we try to well as I was very impacted by cartoons, okay? My moral compass was written by them. And
Same,
the
I used to watch Happy
the
Tree Friends.
yeah, man.
shout out to Happy Tree Friends.
But I realize more now than ever that yes, no one wants to be an eye person. I mean, that doesn't sound fun, not being
Not at all, yeah.
right, but I don't want that to be like that.
I think the question is, do you have an option?
Thank you.
I don't know. I really don't know. I would like to believe, but I don't know. Do you really have an option?
I think so.
Or is
I think so.
you think
And it
so?
goes
You
back
think
to
so?
what Andy was saying earlier. Introspection. If you introspect enough, you will become a star person. Because
Yeah.
that's what being an
And do you
eye
think
person is. You're only looking at the outside, at what the outside
exactly?
wants. You're not
I
looking
love
at what
that.
the inside
I
wants.
love that. I love that. I love that.
So your purpose is always determined externally, like, oh, because that person told me to do so, or because these people want me to do that. If you look inside yourself, you find your purpose. And if you have your own purpose and are striving toward it, you're a star person.
Yeah, fucking genius.
Then my next question is from the broader point of view of a society. Is it possible to make a majority of star people?
No, no. We need workers who don't care about
Oh,
what I mean is, don't get me wrong.
come on.
Do not get me wrong. I'm not the bubblegum princess bubblegum. Okay, that's not what I am. What I came to notice, it is many people prefer like their comfort zone is in the outside, right? Not in their inside. It's very scary to look inside. And so here's my question that defines the answer to your question is are people is everyone equally as capable slash motivated into introspectivity? Because my mom, not to say anything weird, but my when I told because Ian and I write poetry a lot and we like to analyze songs, right? And so I tried to share this with my mother. I love my mother, by the way. I love her. And she said, like, I do not really get this. I don't feel like I have that capability, right? And it struck me as if maybe because when you analyze a song, it also it resonates from within, right? You need to know yourself in order to know what you like and what resonates with you. So she never really had that deepness in the introspectivity. And she told me she does not feel like she has that capability. Now, do you think that everyone has this capability of introspectivity, or they just don't want to or never had the chance to?
Hmm.
Or is it that
I think
some people can just, well, no, I'm just thinking out loud. Yeah, no,
think
I
the
was
more
reaching a dead end.
people are star people, the better.
Of course, it would be amazing to not be excluded of groups just because you speak your mind. Yeah.
But
I mean, that is a good question. Can star people exclude other star people?
Um,
I think real star people can't. That's the thing when
The real star people.
we
well,
talked about this in the Camino de Santiago, remember, Ian? The bright eyes.
yeah.
I don't know.
What are the
There's
bright
It
eyes?
it seems like there is it's another archetype. It seems like there are eyes that reach. No, I'll go first to be able to explain it to what effect does a star person has on the one surrounding them. The star person is usually more sensitive and therefore it can kind of understand better
empathize.
are the archetypes and can see archetypes in a much clearer way. And
Mhm.
whoever can see archetypes and understand them usually becomes more empathetic and becomes a natural type of leader, right? It's something that draws the rest of humans into this center of, because it's the source of the creation and the under, well, not the creation but the discovering of the archetypes, right? But there are certain I people that also find a way of leadership, right? I people who can't, who are not really that introspective or don't have the same sensitivity, but in some way find themselves leading through. Um, I would be inclined to say leading through mm, an Odinistic way of leadership.
I people, right?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I people,
Explain
but
Odinistic, because
not
viewers
all
do not
I
have
people.
the
Well,
same.
yeah.
Well, they
Odinism
can go
means
watch
you.
this Rainbow Squirrel video. Yeah, explain it. Explain it.
No, they have to click the
Odinism.
video. You need clicks. You need clicks.
Need to click the
You
video.
need the views. Nah.
We'll put
Let's
a.
explain it. Let's be empathetic. Let's be.
Let's be star people.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think the Rainbow Squirrel can
Odinistic
explain this better.
means okay. There's the archetype of power. One can think that the ultimate purpose for everyone is power. And that's something that especially Slytherins are drawn to because it lines up with ambition. The ultimate treasure. What is that? Some say it's power. That idea that power is the ultimate treasure is embodied by Odin. So that idea is Odinism.
Yeah, and so what I like, we could use the archetypes of Harry Potter. We can say that the star person in Harry Potter is Harry Potter, right? He doesn't want the attention, and he doesn't. Oh, the archetype of the star person is Harry Potter, right? He is kind of this. He has something in him naturally that makes him a leader And he doesn't really want this attention. He really doesn't want to be in this position, but people follow him because of who he is. And
I don't think so. I don't
then
think so.
from the other side you have Malfoy, right? Malfoy is this other Odinistic, the bright eye that we call the the one who seeks power, right? And the one who leads through convincing others that he is in the right, and through this conscious looking for power, kind of. And
I
we see these. Well, maybe Harry Potter is not, like, as a character, is not the best, but I think people can understand through this. Um,
You know who's a like definitely a star person? And I can
Snape.
think of
who?
two really from the
Snape.
Marvel universe. What? No.
Professor Snape. I do think he's a star person.
He's a star person, but I think there's clearer examples.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Captain
Snape
America
is,
Luna
and
yeah.
Iron
Lovegood.
Man
Luna
and Luna,
Lovegood.
but from
Luna
another
Okay, the
universe.
the
Lovegood.
the
Captain
Marvel.
America and Iron
Uh-huh.
Man. Those two are absolute star people.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I
Literally.
agree. I agree.
One of them literally has a star on their shield and on their chest.
But that's because America.
Well, maybe there's a correlation.
Maybe, yeah, definitely. They definitely know about star people. And they put
Like maybe
so,
freer societies, and this is why Ayn Rand loved star people and loved freedom. Maybe freer societies lead to the flourishing of more star people.
yeah, actually, in the start of, because this is a big thing, but like a generation tried to counteract what the prior generation has done. This is a concept that has been explored in a YouTube video. I don't remember which one, but I remember that what your parents are, you are trying not to be. And so if your parents have been strict, I mean, it's not a law, but it has been seen like in the 50s, all of the boys were like dressed up and like that, right? However, in the 70s, there was a hippie revolution. And then
Everyone looked
exactly,
like
and then
Ian
in
in the
the
70s.
and exactly, and then in the 90s, it was all like not fashion, but like trying to work, no? And now in the 2000s, like, no, we don't want to work anymore. What was I going with this?
Yeah, how does that connect to Star and Night people?
I had a clear point in my head. It will come as the conversation goes on, but keep
It
that
had
in mind.
something to do with how free societies generate more star people.
Right. So we are in this fluctuation, right? The more expression, the more self-expression, the less repression, the more star people are allowed to be themselves. That's what I was going for. Like right now, we're in the peak where there's a lot of expression and this woke power, which makes you
Like
be
woke
who you
power.
are. The power of the woke. I mean, not
That
it's to
is, I wouldn't
counteracting the bullying. Yes, please say.
like. I would say the woke itself is quite a repressive force. Many people perceive it that way. Like
Yes, I definitely, like it's this one section of society that is now taking control in opposed to what was before, like it's this movement of power across generations. What before was repressed is now fought against for. So like these people are now the ones that have the power to express
but
themselves.
that
And
I mean, this gets to an interesting thing. I said I made a video, and it's one of my favorite videos.
yes, I've seen it and I
Wokeness
love it.
is Gnostic Odinism.
Yes.
Thank you. And it's like wokeness is an Odinistic force because it perceives things exclusively through these power struggles.
Yeah,
But
but
the power struggles are only dominant from the perspective of an eye person. From the perspective of a
mhm.
star person, It's not about power, it's about creativity. And so by being an Odinist movement, it simultaneously limits freedom, it's repressive in that sense, and it limits starness. It
Well,
reduces the number of
I
star
guess
people
you can
because
see
you
it
I
this
have
guess
way.
to.
the way I see it is in history, it seems like every movement that has been born from a star initiative is kind of bound to go down and to become an Odinistic kind of thing. We can see it with the hippies, the beginning of the hippies in the 60s. It started with I guess to yes, to an awakening of to repression and
Hmm.
to violence, and I don't know, whatever the heck was going on in the 60s. But when it started actually like becoming popular, this idea, the original hippies kind of started drifting away from it and started like
Hmm.
trying to push themselves away from the way the thing was developing, because it started to become again like aggressive and violent. And so the actual real hippies who started it started moving to the north of California, started moving to Afghanistan, started moving to blah blah blah. It seems like the same is happening with woke, right? It
Yeah.
just started with a looking of for freedom of expression, and it just
No,
has
I don't
evolved
think
into
I don't think woke ever was about freedom of expression. Since the
how,
beginning.
how did woke start? How would you say woke started?
Well, the term itself started as a awareness of systemic injustice, not
Not the
individual
term,
injustice,
the movement, the
but the
What
like
movement that
people,
whatever led to woke is today. Where
we
did it
now call
start?
woke, it all started with something called critical theory from the
All
Frankfurt
right.
School. What the Frankfurt School was trying to do was trying to refurbish Marxist ideas because they hadn't worked across the 20th century
Okay.
to to create something, a movement that's still gonna take down liberalism, capitalism, by critiquing not economic inequalities, but cultural inequalities. And so
mhm,
everything it associated with the liberal way of being, with the capitalist way of being, was patriarchy, racism, homophobia, all of these things that we now hear today. And that allied itself with postmodernism that viewed uh, everything as a power structure, whether it was totalitarian or capitalist, it didn't matter. Everything is a power structure. So
Okay.
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 What I,
that's what the movement was. Critical theory
mhm,
was, how do we culturally deconstruct everything that holds up capitalism? And that strategy against capitalism comes back to a guy called Antonio Gramsci. Um, and so that's what woke is. It was always an anti-liberal movement. That's why I can't say it was about freedom, because they said it was about liberation. But as we know
hmm,
in Marxist ideas, liberation just means liberation from what you want, liberation from your own
exactly.
self-interest,
All
liberation
right.
from the conditions that allow you to be free, so that you can be truly free in the Hegelian sense, so that you can be integrated with the progressing spirit of society. That's real freedom, that's real liberation. That's what wokeness was always about.
So a lot of
Okay. Okay.
subjectivity, right?
Subjectivity and anti-individualism.
Okay. But I
Like
did not know that. So that's very interesting. That's very interesting.
it's
What
like you're
I
not
meant
you
with
and
the,
the individual. You're
yeah,
you and the white woman.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But what I, because I like before knowing this, I thought of this, like that's why I said it, because for me, woke is like another hippie thing, right? Another hippie strike, like from the 70s. It was basically the same. I don't know, maybe I mislabeled it. Maybe it's not woke, it's the current revolution, right? I don't know. What I meant with this is the that the star person, I lost my idea again,
Yeah, I think I know where you're going. That
right? Please help me out.
whatever is established, whatever is established is powerful, right? Whatever is established is a form of power. And the rise of a star is kind of fighting against what is established. Not necessarily for the sake of fighting against it, but it naturally fights against what is established. And
Mhm.
Mm.
when the people find this fight attractive enough, because it starts to become a fight
Because
against
more
what is
people
established
go,
for the sake of fighting against what is established, more than just actually going for or at least pursuing the what the original idea is.
or
Yeah,
when
And
they're
you're
not
that's
alone anymore. When they're not alone anymore, more I people can join, because if they're alone, I people do not feel safe. And so
and
if it
that's the
becomes
moment,
bigger,
yeah. And
I
that's the
people
moment
join.
where it starts to become Odinistic, and then it starts to become about power. I mean, maybe woke is not a great example for this, but there are many examples. You could use like literally any religion, or maybe like, I don't know, Christianity, right? I think the Bible is an amazing um oh, what we were talking about before I forgot the archetype.
archetypal
Yeah,
condensation.
archetypal condensation. It started with an artistic movement that naturally gained power and gained following because it was archetypal and it was prophetic. And what came later came the institutionalization of it, and the kind of it became yeah, more of a power thing. Christianity started being
Mhm.
used by governments and the church as a mean for power, and as an
which
Odinistic mean.
which brings us to the bright eyes. I would connect that before we lose the
I'm still not super
proximity.
clear as to what the bright eyes are.
Exactly. So Ian, explain now that you have constructed this perfectly.
The
Although I do
bright
have something to
eyes
say before that.
Say it.
the bright eyes are the eyes that stand out. The eyes that become powerful not because they are stars and because they are sensitive to the archetype, but because they know how to use it for the means of power. They are
They
these.
they they know how to observe, and from that they know how to lead. A good example is a
Mm.
politician. A politician doesn't get his power from his own inertia, or very little successful so politicians get that, but rather they know what the crowd wants, and they portray it as a bright star, so they see him as a leader, as a natural thing, when it actually comes from observation, right? That's what I think is right, no, Ian?
Yeah, I think so. And I think we can agree on that. No politician or no actual successful politician can be a star. Because if a
Very few.
politician was actually a star, it wouldn't get to the height you need to become a politician, or at least a followed politician.
Popularity, yeah.
I'd say just very, very few. I don't want to categorically say No
Well,
politicians, but
Very,
so
very few, but it's
yeah.
rare and it's very
thinking
fucking rare.
Voldemort is a bright star.
Yeah. Yeah, Voldemort is a bright star. I
Do you
would
think
say
so? I would
even
A bright eye, a bright eye. Sorry,
I
I
would say
get
yeah,
he's
yeah,
a
I
star
a bright
mix so
eye.
person.
much. Fuck.
I would say he's a
Yeah, yeah,
star
yeah,
person.
yeah. I'm mixing
Why
yours.
is he an
Voldemort,
eye person?
he's an eye because he is focusing on this Odinistic power. It's not
Hmm.
about creation
Right.
or
No,
about
yeah. You're right. You're right. So it's a power to yeah, to fit in because as a child he never really fit in. So he has
never
to
fit in.
govern the world in order to do that. Yeah. You're totally
Exactly.
right.
What would you say Dumbledore is?
Oh, Dumbledore is definitely a star
Star person.
A star.
because he didn't even
Mm.
want any power.
And and that's
That's
why I
true. That's
think
true.
Snape
Yeah.
is also a star person. Because he did what he wanted. Obviously, he was a smart one because he did follow rules of eye people. He did not
Yeah,
completely do all
it
the
seems
time.
like Snape wasn't a star person disguised as an eye person, right? A
Exactly.
Yeah.
scared
No
eye
spoilers, but
star
like yes.
person.
No
Nah,
spoilers.
nah.
It's been
If
out.
you haven't
It's been
seen the
out.
Harry Potter, like fucking get out of here, get out of here.
It's like,
Nah,
don't
but
tell them they crucified
Children watch
Jesus.
this. No, they don't.
No, they
They
don't.
yeah,
should.
I put
it's
on all of the videos I put not for kids.
yeah.
No.
Snape
You're
is
depriving people of knowledge.
Snape is the archetype of the repressed type, repressed star person, right? The
I
star
think,
person who has
well,
no other way
yeah.
of dealing with their own reality, but by becoming an eye person, and therefore Snape is so full of pain, right?
What
It's one
Mhm.
of the most
like
painful characters.
what I wanted to say before is that I think it's not always star person against the establishment. I think
Mm-mm.
the establishment can either enable star people or suppress star people. And that's what I'm saying. Free societies are better for star people because they enable them the most. What the woke, what the revolutionaries, what, well, not revolutionaries, but Marxist revolutionaries want is to transform the establishment from one where people are self driven to one where people are community driven. They want to create a
Mhm.
society
Mhm.
where there are no star people, only eye people. And then the idea is, well, after you create that society and everyone is free from their own desires, then you can disable the system automatically. It will just go away. And suddenly, like that, everyone will be a star person, even though you just designed the system to turn them into eye people.
Magic.
Yeah,
Magic. Yeah,
yeah,
it
that's
makes
it. That's
no
basically
sense.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It makes
If you put it like
absolutely
that.
zero sense. And so that's why I'm like, woke isn't a star person movement. Quite the contrary.
No.
True that. True that. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. I think I agree.
And why do you think so many people are angry with you for making this video?
It was mostly one person that got very
Well,
angry.
yeah, but I can imagine many people being like
There were,
conflicted with that.
yeah,
But you
there were a
did
few
get
people
like
that,
quite a bit of hate for it. I mean, not as hateful as that
Hate
one
is
guy, but
good. Hate is development. Hate is attention.
I mean, they they're very much against my definition of woke. They think
yeah,
that either it's true that everything is about power, so why are you making a video about this? Like this video itself, what you're doing is a power play because that's all they can see. It's power.
it's power. Yeah.
And when I tell them, no, what about these other things? What about beauty? What about creation? What about reason? They're like, oh, are those things not powerful? It's like you're playing fast and loose with the definitions. You're playing games.
Yeah,
And
it
that was
becomes a
basically
semantics thing. Yeah.
the only like actual critique I saw. The rest of the hate was just like, this guy's an idiot. This is the most ignorant
True that.
video on
Yeah, yeah.
YouTube. That's like the most ignorant video on YouTube. That sounds. like an achievement.
Damn, you got first place, man.
Got first
Congratulations.
place, number
Fuck
one.
yeah. Fuck yeah.
Absolutely, the
PUBG.
best. Everyone, go check out that video on the timestamp
Put your
on
hateful
the.
comment now.
Put your hateful comment up right now. Say why we're all dumbasses, especially me. And yeah, so we'll put some cards on the screen so you can watch the videos we've talked about. And yeah,
Subscribe.
I think subscribe.
Subscribe,
Subscribe.
subscribe.
Please.
It's
Please
free. It's
subscribe.
free.
Free knowledge for everyone.
Your finger won't fall off, I promise.
Or
It's
maybe
easy.
it
Just
will. You
And if
just
it
have to
does,
try. You have to
no
try.
refunds. We will not pay for the hospital bills.
Nah. What
Well,
hospital bills? Go
it
to
has been the
Europe.
Squirrel Circus podcast. Thank you for watching.